Dad was a family practitioner in DeQuincy, Louisiana, and my mother was a nurse. And for the first 12 years of my life, we lived above the hospital that my dad owned. And after that, we then moved into a home there in DeQuincy. But for the first 12 years of my life, we lived in an upstairs above the hospital that he owned. And it was quite an adventure. I have memories of my dad and my mother. That's when they used ether for the anesthetic, and my dad would come in and smell like ether, and I would remember them putting me to bed at night and both of them smelling like ether. I still have those memories of that ether smell. So that was my introduction to medicine. My initial interest was in general surgery. I spent 4 years doing general surgery and became board certified in general surgery. And then during my 4th year, the New Orleans Saints, during my 3rd year of general surgery, the New Orleans Saints moved to New Orleans. And the person, Dr. Ken Sayre, was appointed as team physician, and he asked several of us if we wanted to go out and help him doing physical exams. He was on the Tulane staff at that time. So I went out, and a number of us went out and helped him do the physicals. And I got interested in sports at that time and realized that sports really was more orthopedically oriented than it was general surgery oriented. So I came back home one evening and told my wife, I said, you know, I think I'd like to go into orthopedics. And she said, you got to be kidding me. She said, you spent 3 years in general surgery and you want to spend another 3 years doing something else? I said, yeah. She says, okay. So I applied for a orthopedic residency at Tulane and got that, and I finished my orthopedic residency at Tulane. After I finished the residency, my mother died, and my dad was a family practitioner in DeQuincy, and he decided he was going to retire, and he got a little depressed, and so my wife came over and spent 3 months with him when I was finishing the residency, and she liked the area. I knew I couldn't be an orthopedist in DeQuincy, so the next best bet was Lake Charles. Dr. Boyd Woodard, who is a family practitioner, was the team physician for McNeese, and I approached him and asked him if I could assist him in taking care of the university athletic teams. And actually he was quite happy to release some of the responsibility, because it's really during football season, it's a 7-day-a-week, almost a 24-hour-a-day job. And over the several years, over a year's time, Dr. Woodard said, look, why don't you just go ahead and do it? So he allowed me to assume the role of team physician in 1972. And I did that until 1 year ago. So now our office here with Dr. Collins and Dr. Noble serve as the chiefs. Dr. Noble is actually the chief team physician, and Dr. Collins is one of the orthopedic doctors who works at the university, and I also still can't keep away from Saturday night games.